Good evening, guys. It's Darren from Jace Media, and in the chair tonight we have Spanish songstress Miss Barbara Black. Good evening, Barbara. How are you?
Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Yes, we are fine. And thank you very much for taking the time to chat tonight.
My
Um,
pleasure.
Normally you would say, "I know you're busy," but obviously at the moment things are pretty pretty crap for lots of people, and and lots of people are having some hard times at the moment. How has lockdown been for you guys?
Here it's been complicated for several reasons. First of all, you know that here in Spain, the lockdown started on March the 13th,
Yeah,
and we released the album the 10th, so it was wonderful.
yeah,
But at the beginning, we thought that it was going to be almost 2 weeks or more or less, but later on we realized that it was going to be very, very long.
long time.
So our tour were canceled. Some of my friends and the musicians in the band lost their jobs, and even one of them has lost his father. So it's really hard to see how people is suffering, and even how the culture is being so damaged.
Yeah, I think I think when people were talking about it, oh, it's just like the flu, a couple of weeks, and I think as things have gone on, it's got steadily worse, and it's got a little better, and then it's got worse. Hopefully now with the vaccine and stuff, hopefully musicians and bands can start getting out there, and start to tour, because it's what I think a lot of people are missing, you know, from. Excuse me, I'm just turning my phone on silent, Barbara. I think it's just, I think for us reviewers who review the music, we're extremely busy. I'm probably doing 10 albums, 15 albums a week. Probably anything between 20 and 30 singles a week, and probably a couple of interviews, because I think during the lockdown, I think people are making lockdown music, and then they're like yourself trying to get it out there to their fans, to give them something to at least hang on to, in the hope that possibly next year there'll be some live music for people to enjoy. And I think for yourself, you've had an album out, and probably in a couple of months' time it'll be almost a year. So people will then be thinking, I wonder if Barbara's got some new music, and you're thinking, I'm still playing the last record. So I think it's given a lot of musicians a lot of time to do some writing, and try and work on some new music. Has that been the same for you? Have you worked on new music, or are you still playing on the back of the last album?
We are trying to be productive and don't lose time. And of course, we are in the rehearsals and preparing all the new things. For example, the last video clip that we released a month ago, and we want to record a new video clip in January or maybe in February.
Yeah.
But we have here like a different lockdown. We have to be at home at midnight. So we would like to record at night because it's a dark video.
Yeah.
So now it's impossible. So in the last rehearsal, we were considering start once again composing, because I have all the ideas for a new album, and about the lyrics, about the topics. But on the other hand, we think, okay, our album is too young.
Yeah.
But we have to be productive, I think.
Yeah, I think as musicians, some people say that I've spoken to numerous musicians who have said I haven't picked up my guitar in 6 months, 9 months. I haven't written anything, um, and you would like to think that in these times that this is where you get your productive juices. When you're sitting and you're thinking about the dark times. And I know that your album, Love, Death and Flies, is a real dark album. It's got lots of fantastic tracks and it's got lots of really dark melodies and things like that. So it's a real return to form for you and the guys. It's an excellent album. I reviewed it a way back in March. I was then given it again in June, to review it. But and I said to my boss, I want to get you on video, and get you out there to the fans, because when I first reviewed it and sent it out, I think it was viewed about 400 or 500 times, from our readers on the website, so when we do an album review, we post it to our website, and it goes to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and then it goes to America, and it goes to Australia, and goes to Canada, and people will pick it up. So there was lots of people had lots of interest in it, and I think it's because it's a real dark album. It's just, obviously the opening track just blew me away. Absolutely just blew me away. Just a real in your face rock and roll piece of music, with
Yeah, we
lots
have
of,
composed it from the heart and from the
yeah,
soul. And
yeah,
when we were composing it, we were focused on the idea of to be on a stage and connecting with the audience. We were trying to look for that power and that energy. And the main idea that if somebody entered to the venue and he doesn't know us and he listened the song for the first time, he can enjoy it and he can sing it.
yeah.
That was my main goal. Uh, yeah, maybe we have done something.
I think what you do have, Barbara, you have a real connection. When people listen to certain albums, they can connect to it. They can connect to the lyrics, they can connect to the music. And heavy metal fans, love loud guitars, they love thrashing drum solos, and things like this. But this album has it all. It's got fantastic lyrics. It's got great power vocals from yourself. It's got a thrashing drum section, and it's got killer riffs in it. And I think that that's all you can ask for when you're making an album, and in the hope that people like it, and you have lots of fans around the world, and I'm sure that it's been well received.
I think drum in metal style it's one of the most important thing, and we are a lucky band with that because our drummer is called Nitro Distraction because he's very wild when he plays, and you can see no two arms, you can see 8 arms playing at
Yeah,
the same time. And on the other hand, our producer is also a very, very, very talented drummer here in Spain. So I think that's the reason why the result is so focused on the drum and the sound that they both are very, very perfectionist in that area. So we
yeah,
are lucky.
yeah. I mean, it's a real classy album. It's got lots of really cool tracks on it, and there's a couple of, the couple of the standouts, as I say, for me, from Demnified and Twister Girl. Twister Girl really just, like, when you review the album, what I do is, I play it through first, and then I start to write. And I grab myself a glass of red, and I just sort of chill and get the headphones on, crank it up to 100, and I start to write. And that way that sometimes when you do it, you just get transported off. Because you're like, you get really into it, you're like, oh wow, that's just, and I play it back, and oh wow, it's just, and I think as a reviewer, you listen to certain lyrics and certain riffs and the melodies, and you play it back, you go, wow, that really just blew me away. So those are the two standout tracks for me on the album. The album itself is a good album, but those two really stood out for me.
Yeah.
And they're just really cool tracks. They've got everything in them, which is what you want. You want an album to grab you when you listen to it. I don't. When I talk to all of the artists that I review, I don't just say, oh yeah, it's this, it's that. I tell it like it is. I don't know if you've seen my review.
Yes, of course.
I hope, and I hope you liked it. I hope it was.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I guess it's I don't go on and say to someone there was 10 tracks in it and 6 were good and 4 were bad, because that doesn't help the band and yourself, because people will go, well, they've only written 6 good tracks. So the thing for me is that I listen to it and I kind of play through how you guys are playing on stage, and I listen to it and I think, yeah, it's got this, it's got this, it's got great harmony. I wouldn't say, yeah, great album, but I didn't like 4 of the tracks, because that's just, it deflates you guys. So that's how I do it. And as I say, I hope that you liked the review, because I was just blown away by it. As I say, it's just a real dark piece of material, which is quite nice.
Thank you so much. With Twister Girl, it has very Mr. Big influences, because my guitar player Carlos and I love that band.
Yeah.
And it can remind you to that band. And about the lyrics, I think it's one of the funniest, because the Twister Girl is a tiny student of mine, that that I'm a music teacher here in Spain. And once she came to me and she told me, Barbara, you don't know what has happened to me. Twister has came and took me to the air, and I was flying through the sky. And I said, okay, what a fantastic girl. You are lying to me somehow. And then I asked her parents, and it was absolutely true. She was so tiny.
Wow.
That one day, a big tornado came here in my neighborhood, and luckily she was wearing a helmet. She was with her bike.
Yeah.
And the Twister took her.
Wow.
And throw her. So later, when I saw her again, I told her, Nieves, you are the Twisted Girl. You are a powerful woman. You are a heroine, and I'm going to compose you a song, baby.
Fantastic. I think that, stuff like that is really cool, because you're relating to something that's happened to someone, and you're putting it down in lyrics and music form, and it relates so well. Because when you listen to the track and you listen to the lyrics, you think, wow, it's a really powerful, cool track. And it's nice that it's happened to someone. So your young student, Neves, is famous now. So when you go on tour and you play the track, you can tell people this is a true story.
Yeah, I always say, if someday we go on tour, I want to explain this story, because I think it's very tender and very funny.
Absolutely, and it'll gain her lots of attention, I think. So what is your what are you doing over Christmas and stuff? You're still in lockdown? You're going to be in lockdown at midnight till next year, this year? Is there any change?
We have here many restrictions. We can only meet 6 people, not more. So, and my family, some of my family is living abroad. My sister is living in Edinburgh, so she's not going to come, because she's not allowed now to come.
Yeah.
My father is living in Rome, so he is not going to come. So it's going to be weird times, but anyway, we will look a way to have fun, and I suppose that we will take the guitar and the piano and play and sing, and
Yeah,
that's things
absolutely.
that we know how to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about next year? What about, have you any plans for next year for trying to get out on tour or do some festivals? Or is there any plans? I know that in Britain, obviously with the new vaccine and stuff, I think there's hope that maybe in February, March of next year, things will start getting, less restriction and we can get some, some music on the go. Because Glasgow people love a good rock and roll night out. They really, they really do. They love a nice sweaty venue that's full with a really good rock band, giving them what they want, and that's been missing since I think my last gig was Samantha Fish, the blues guitarist, 28th of February, and then it started to shut down. So that was my last gig. But like I said earlier, that I'm just reviewing millions of new bands and bands from yesteryear coming out the woodwork and producing new albums. So we're extremely busy. So I guess that as a reviewer, that's what's missing. I love going to live gigs. I love going to see new bands. I love interviewing bands and singers and things like this. You get people like Area Littman, who I interviewed a couple of weeks ago, brought out a lockdown live DVD, and she's saying in Finland and Norway and Sweden and Denmark they can go and do gigs because they can allow 1,000 people in, 1,500 people. So I guess that's the hope for you guys, that you get out and play.
So we have received some emails from different festivals, but they all they are telling us that they don't know if they are going to be in 2021 or maybe the next summer in 2022. But they are very interested in us, and here in Spain too. And we are trying to play here in Spain that our cancelled tour. We are trying to get it back. And we are thinking now in a live and streaming concert. We are getting some information, and maybe during the Christmas holidays, we are going to shoot it. And I
Brilliant.
think it's because you have to look for the new things, and maybe we have to look for the support in the social media, in
Yeah.
the internet, and these things.
You're right. I think that's the way forward now. I think, I do. If you're doing a live stream, please let me know, and I will review it online for you, and then we will post it, and we'll send it out to people. I did a review about 6, 7 weeks ago of the band King
I don't
Blues
know.
the blues band from Glasgow, the tour with Joe Bonamassa and people like that, and they did a live stream gig from a recording studio in Glasgow, and I reviewed it, and it got 15,000 hits because and you have the virtual tip jar that people can put into, and I guess now that is the way forward. To get your music out there, live stream. If you're playing your new album, people will tune in to hear it because I think it's the closest thing they're going to get to live music.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
thing is that at the beginning we were like we didn't like it too much because it's like we need the hit of the audience.
Yeah.
Playing live without people in a room, in an empty room, is like too cold. Too you need the adrenaline.
Yeah, I think you're not getting your persona and the band's persona across. Yes, it's lovely when you've got 10, 15 cameras and people are there, and and you've got some audience, But if you have no one, I guess it's you talking to a camera, you know, for 90 minutes, and you won't run out of things to say. But I guess it would feel strange when you're playing your live music and singing and there's no one cheering. You're thinking, oh, and it almost feels like, sometimes you might think, I don't really want to do it. But I guess for you guys, it's getting you noticed. Not that you don't need, notification, but I think that fans will pay money to tune in and see you guys playing live on a stream, because it's, as I say, it's the next best thing.
It's the next step. Otherwise, you are out. So
Yeah.
to do it.
I mean, it's a shame, and I know, and as I say, as a media company, we feel for you guys, because we get people emailing us all the time. Can you help us with PR work? Can you do this? Can you look at security? Yeah, no problem. When are you coming? Or we don't know. And I think they're just desperate, to get out and play. There's bands that we talk to in Australia. They've had no COVID cases for almost 2 months, so they're starting to open up bits of Australia. New Zealand hasn't had any. I think they've had 4 in about 8 months. So they're starting to open up their borders for people to come and play. So I guess, for you guys, I think it's just hoping that, upon hope that it does ease for you to get out, and when you do go on tour, please email me, let me know where you are. Glasgow, Scotland. I will come, we'll do an interview, and we'll have a chat. Get a glass of red wine and just talk about what we spoke about last year. Sitting having a Skype interview about how bad times are and things like this. So I guess it's just, you want to make sure that I want to make sure that I can give you as much coverage as I can. We have 80,000 members that will tune into this video. It'll be rendered down tonight or tomorrow and posted tomorrow or Monday, and the hits will just come in because people are interested to see their female icon chatting about music, lockdown and stuff like this, and touring, and once it goes out, I will let you know that it's live, and you can post it on your social media, and we can see the hits come in, and then hopefully get you out there again and touring and come to Scotland.
Yeah, I hope. Darren, that 2 years ago we went in a little tour to England, and we were in London, in Coventry, in Nottingham, and many more villages, and it was such an experience because we were touring with another band from Coventry. They are called Overseer. Now they have changed the name to Blackwater Fin. We are still so friends. We connected in such a way that at the end of the tour, we decided to get tattooed together. We were crazy. And we chose a star from our cover, our first album. And all the boys tattoo on the wrist, but I have my wrist tattoo. So finally I got tattoo my finger. So it was like such a connection and such an experience that and even we had like a short video about that tour in our channel. We call it how do you say? I don't remember the name. I can't remember in English the word. Okay, the name is so funny, and you can take it out if you want because it's so funny.
When that happens, you can tell me, and I will post it. It's not a problem. But how do you find touring with British bands or touring in Britain as to touring in Spain and places like that, and Germany and France and stuff like that? Is it different? Is there different crowds, or are the same crowds? Is it the support band or you that make your little tour better? Is it the audiences? Do you have the same feeling when?
I think between musicians, it's like we are such a kind of people. So musicians always, we are used to connect. We feel in the same way. And about the audience here in Spain, I think that in the south the people is more expressive, and
Yeah,
in the north they are more, you know.
more demure and kind of,
uh,
yeah.
And I think it's the same in England, or at least what I saw is like, the more you go to the north,
North, yeah.
it is less expressive.
Well, when you come to Glasgow, right, whenever you play in Glasgow, they will give you a rousing reception because Glaswegians love a good night out. They love a good rock and roll show, and you will leave saying, I want to come back to Glasgow because the Glaswegian audiences are mental. They're just
I can't wait. I can't wait
yeah.
to go there.
Listen, I hope you do. I really hope you do because it would be so great to meet up and chat and face to face. But please do when you hopefully get out of this and you start some touring, please get your PR people, your tour management to get you to Glasgow. Come and see us. We'll get a glass of red, and you will say afterwards, Darren, you were right.
I'm going to tell you, Darren, a little secret.
Come on.
Even nobody knows, but I want to tell you because I love England. I fall in love when I went 4 times, if I remember well, and I love England. The weather, the light, the houses, the food, the people,
Yeah.
everything. So in my job, uh, there are some vacancies. Vacancies is correct.
Yes. Yeah.
In Britain, and I'm going to apply for it, and I'm going to try to get that job. And one of my dream is to move there. And let's see. And if it happens, it will be next year. So
Yeah.
maybe we can be neighbors.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. We can keep in touch and we can chat. And I'll tell you, don't live in England, come and live in Scotland. Scotland is really cold, but we have the nicest people in the world. We are so welcoming. We just love to party. We like to go to nights out, rock nights, and have a real good time and appreciate the music, So if you put on a really good show, they will be asking you to come back because they just love good, loud, heavy rock and roll. So
Good to
if
know.
you do get the job in England, are you applying just now? Are you waiting to next year? Is what's the plan?
uh, Next Friday, they open the application, and they open such a procedure.
Yeah,
And if later, if they call you, you have a personal interview.
yeah,
In September, I would start with the classes there. So I will have to move in July, more or less, if
yeah.
everything goes okay. Yeah.
Good. Well, listen. I hope you do. I hope you apply for it. I hope it goes well, and it means you'll be closer to Scotland to come and see us. So, and I'm hoping that at this time next year, everything will be clear and everybody will be back to normal. I don't know what normal is now because it's changing so much, and you guys are the same because obviously Spain was really bad
Yeah,
for.
and about the jobs, it's been awful. It's been horrible.
Yeah.
Many people has lost their jobs, um, and the kind of jobs are horrible. Um, the How do you say, the businessmen are getting richer,
Yes.
and you know what I
And the
mean.
little people are getting poorer. Yeah, yeah. Listen, Barbara, it's happening all over, and it's really sad. Um, who would have thought that something like this would have brought the world to its knees, and and the little enjoyment and excitement and the good time you get, going out, enjoying yourself, you can't even do that, so it's putting a halt to musicians, to theatre, to clubs where no one can go out. So it's really affecting everybody, so badly. But, let's hope that, next year you apply for this job and you can come and live in England. You should be living in Scotland, but live in England, that's fine. I won't hold that. I won't hold that against you. And then get on tour, come and see us, and we can hang out.
Yes, we are hoping so.
Excellent. Now, listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know it's Saturday night, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the chair tonight. It's been interesting to talk to you about music and your stories. When it comes for the video to be aired, I will email your PR company to let you know, and we will share it. As I say, it goes on YouTube, goes on Facebook, goes on Twitter, and then it goes across to America and Australia, and we will let you know. But it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you, Barbara. Thank you very much for your time. This is Darren from Jace Media in the chair with Barbara Black, and we will hope to see you down the road somewhere.
Thank you so much, Darren. Such a pleasure, and big hug for all the Jace Media group and team.
Thank you very much. You take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.